We recording? Are we recording? Testing YouTube bandwidth. Magandang buhay sa'yo lahat. You're tuned into Lama Rock's channel. It's been a good maybe 6 months since I've last spoken. I just want to talk to you guys in lead up to this weekend's Nice Fest event. If any of you guys are heading to that event and are catching this quick talk of mine, it's all about the concept of letting go and taking the safety off. Now, in 2017, I had a pretty tough year. There was a lot of reflection, there was a lot of introspection, and there was a lot of time spent not dancing. Not dancing in the sense of competitions and contests, but more so in dancing at places that reminded me of places I used to dance at when I was first starting out. And one of the things I remember from back in the day is everything was just about having fun. Now, I'm not saying that you guys out there aren't having fun, but for me, it got to that point where it was serious competition, and even though I was pretty cash about me entering a competition, I was training, but I wasn't training as hard as let's say some of the best dancers around the world do. Training has never been a strong forte of mine, a strong discipline of mine. What was strong about my own personal dance was going out to dance at certain venues and bars and clubs. Now, things have changed. It used to be that these spots were the places where b-boys would gather. Mind you, only a select few, and still up to this day, which is very, very, very interesting to me, the majority of dancers back then and still now don't go out to dance. And maybe that's a cultural thing, maybe that's just a conditioning from recent times. But what I want to say to you guys is that besides your own personal training and labbing and creating of moves, it's at places where you don't have control over the music, where you have to lend yourself and lend your vibe, either alone or with your friends or with the random people you meet there, or you bring a whole group of your friends to a place like that, where you lend your energy and then the energy comes back. Hello to the single viewer out there. We're talking about letting go and taking the safety off. Now, taking the safety off is something that Alien Ness used to always tell us. When we first met Alien Ness, he loved our crew because he resonated with the way we danced and our whole vibe and our whole attitude. But every time, at the end of every battle, even when he was judging against us, or for example, the last time he spoke to me about that was at B-Boy City 10 in Texas. He's like, yo, Lama, you're the truth, you're still funky, and I'm humbled by that. Alienness, thank you so much. But, he says, you still gotta take the safety off. And taking the safety off is really to get to the essence of breaking. Not hip-hop per se, but maybe for hip-hop as well. I'm still trying to get my head around it. To take the safety off really means to break out. If you're slightly hesitant about what you're going to do, about trying to hit the beat, about trying to hit the move, trying to be all sorts of different things, and you are more caught up in the thought process in your dance, then you haven't taken the safety off. You haven't broke out. When you break out, when you take the safety off, when you let go, you get into the flow. You get into the zone. And if you're yet to experience it, and I guess everyone will experience it a different way, but for myself and for other Fresh Socks members that I've danced with, you can see it, and when you can feel it yourself when you're in the zone, when you get out of your throwdown. So when you're in a competition, when you're in a party and you're about to throw down, the setting doesn't really matter. What you'll hear is the beats. It'll be it'll be this certain beat. But when you're in the zone, you feel 100 times lighter. You feel like time slowed right down. You feel like you're in some kind of slowed, super slow motion matrix, and all of a sudden it's just you and the music. And then even the music disappears, and all you hear is everything muffles out. And then you'll land into a freeze, you're hitting all of these positions, and then when you finish, you hear a roar. Because you've just released something that the people there witnessing felt so much, whether you were trying or not. And in this case, you wouldn't be trying because you're just in the zone and you're just committed to letting go and taking the seal off, yeah? Getting rid of the safety, yeah? And from that, a crazy energy spreads out from you and thus in return. And that's where you get this live vibe that is comparable to none. That only really happens at a competition when you do some crazy, crazy blow up. But even then, I've seen some guys do some crazy power move combos or really hit the beat, and the crowd was dead silent. Why? Maybe because they're not letting go and they're not taking the safety off either. That's something that we'll have to discover over the years to come. When you think about what's happening for Nice Fest this weekend, unfortunately I won't be there. I'm currently here in Osaka. I'm spending time with my daughter, being a father. The whole vibe of Nice Fest this year is to try and return to this party. Try to return to just having dope DJs playing good music and dancers doing what they're supposed to do. Dance. I won't point the finger at anybody and I won't blame anyone for anything. If anything, I'll blame myself. But there is a thing at the moment where, or perhaps in a one point of time, that there had to be some other motivation to go to an event like prize money, or that it was a competition, and that already removes that direct link with the desire to actually go to an event for the sake of dancing, because now there's an ulterior motive, and that's absolutely fine. Like some people, including myself, I made a living off of going to dance competitions. That's how I built my reputation. That's how I built my networks. But when a certain period of time passed, and that's about 19 years, I realized that this was no longer serving me. And so I went back to the roots of just going to a random night or a specific night that played good music where I could dance. Unfortunately, they don't really play break beats, funk break beats, disco break beats, rock break beats, the way that b-boys want to listen to them at nights that I go to. So I've always attempted to do that for myself on my podcasts like Poggy Salsa on Mixcloud.com. But I haven't yet focused too much on just dance anthems for the particular street styles that I do. Now, having said that, when I'm dancing, I'm really just trying to be in the moment. I'm really just trying to open up. I'm really trying to let go, not only in my dance, but in my own waking life, so that I can just get rid of all of these bullshit things that just revolve in my mind. In my mind, I could be having a bitch about, dance events these days are just, full of dudes who just, want to get props, and, people in the audience, they don't really give a fuck about hip-hop. They're just, looking for the next big move. They're like there to hang off, they're there to be fanboys and fangirls, whatever. And you know what, after all of this thinking and overthinking and then just going out to dance, I realized, man, that is all needed. All of that is needed. That is part and parcel of being a dancer, yeah? But to really, really then let go and take the safety off and open up, if more and more people were to do that, then regardless of the event, regardless of the venue, regardless of the floor, right? If the vibe is right, if everyone lends that energy and there's a reciprocation, there's a benevolence of sharing in these circles or even just on your own with other people watching you, then we all rise up together. You're still in competition mode because essentially that's what being a b-boy is, you know. It's about who has the better style, whether it be through power moves, whether it be through freezes, whether it be through being all-rounder, right? But what truly allows a person and the people around break out is when we're all connected together that way. So some of the ways that I think dancers, not only b-boys and b-girls, but just dancers in general, will get to that point is if you put yourselves in that situation more often. It's kind of hard because, especially where I'm from in Melbourne, there are places where dancers are welcome, but not enough dancers go. But then in a place, let's say like here in Japan, where, you know, there is an abundance of dancers from all different styles. I haven't been to the bars or the clubs here for a good 3 years now, but when I was going 3 years ago, there was a law, fuefo, which was a law that forbade people to dance on a dance floor past 1 a.m. It's pretty hectic. And as a result, all the super clubs here died down. And it wasn't until a club owner decided to do a lawsuit against the city of Osaka, stating that how could you create this law that prevents people from dancing on a dance floor past 1 a.m., yet you make it mandatory for kids to learn dance from high school. Where will they dance once they turn 18 or are legal to go to the clubs? And what was crazy about this club owner was his lawyer was a b-boy from Ichigeki crew. And surprisingly enough, their case won. And that reversed this fuefo grey zone law. It's been around since post-World War II. And the reason why it was created in the beginning was because it was there to protect women and to, you know, through the conservatism of Japanese culture, they wanted to maintain a sense of decency for people when they went out. And it's crazy just because of some mishap through the mayor's son or daughter, or so the story goes. The mayor decided to like drop the hammer on Osaka and kill its nightlife, you know. And as a result, gentrification, yes, gentrification exists here in Japan as well. Gentrification happened to the region of Amemura, or American Village, and my lifestyle, it's probably what crushed my vibe in dancing, is that in the 3 years that I was here in Osaka, to have my daughter, when she was born, I didn't have an outlet no longer. I had to go to these dance competitions that would start at midnight and end at 8 a.m. in the morning, where you just sat down and you were pretty much quiet until someone did a crazy ass move, and then you could go, yeah, and then you'd sit there again. I even remember at that point, I won't name names because it might defame him. He's a good bloke, angry guy, but he's cool. But this judge was falling asleep during the battles. He'd be like, "Judges, 3, 2, 1," and he'll just like, oh, and just pick who won. What a sick dude. He doesn't give a fuck. 0 fucks given. So, you know, like, this is probably the case for, you know, a lot of dancers here in Japan, that they are no longer well versed in their nightclub culture, like the original b-boys and b-girls of Japan from the 80s and 90s. All I'm saying is if we can bring back this underground vibe and make that culture strong, which I believe Nice Fest aims to achieve, then that only enhances our commercial scene. Yeah. In rap music, you have your underground, and then that feeds and helps educate, I guess, the commercial. Educate's not the right word. It helps feed, and it helps inform the commercial, and thus the commercial too informs the underground, and you've got this cycle. I've used this example many a time, but Busta Rhymes in his heyday was the person who could float between two scenes. Here you have Busta Rhymes on MTV Cribs, yet a commercial platform, but he's there freestyling with the Wu-Tang members while they're playing video games. Yeah. Then he's out here with the Pussycat Dolls rapping, and he's lending his vibe to both sides, to all sides of the spectrum. Yeah. If we can do that in dance, we can further enhance what we got going. So imagine the underground scene is so strong. You've got dudes who are busting like air flare doubles into criticals, into air chair spins, into some really tight fresh footwork in a circle that's this big. Yeah. Like superhuman control of throwing their bodies around. Yeah. Like a lot of the South Koreans that are seen from Obawang on an old video from $7. Yeah. Shout outs to Obawang members, right? That's how they develop their style. They're real underground. They just practice in their bedrooms on the tatami mats, whatever the Korean version of that is. And then all of a sudden, bang! They've worked real hard, and they're now in this, the world final BC1. Imagine the kind of stuff this guy can create when trying to expand his discipline of small bedroom breaking into a massive stage. And then imagine guys who have been in the circuit of BC1 for like 10 years or so, all of a sudden go back to the underground, and imagine his or her style changing and maturing as they age. Yeah? That's just one way of thinking about how taking the safety off and letting go will help contribute to the larger picture. So guys, before I wrap this up, a few points about getting down at the event this weekend. If you see this, please share this video if you feel like it can help other people. If not, feel free to give me bad comments, whatever. It'll only make me better, only make these videos come out stronger and more well done. But some important points. When you jump into that circle, even before you jump into that circle, try not to be thinking. Yeah, try not to be thinking about how you're gonna throw down, what you're gonna do. As I still suffer from, just try and feel the music. Hopefully you feel the music. If you're not feeling the music, maybe don't throw down. Yeah, because there's nothing forcing you. Yeah, it's all about giving it your all and dancing honestly. That's a whole nother ball game if you're gonna try and dance when you're not feeling the music. But yeah, feel that vibe, feel that music, and then when you feel that music, just throw down, get yourself in. Yeah, you'll probably collide into some other dudes because these other people also want to dance. But hey, first come, first serve. When you're dancing, be in the moment, be in the move, be in the groove. Let all of those things carry you. Let all of those things lend itself to making you a better version of who you are. Because when you dance in that circle, it's larger than life. It's really, truly larger than life. You are this persona. You are this avatar known as a b-boy or a b-girl. So when you throw down, channel all that energy into getting out there. And I guess the most important thing is, especially if you love this dance so much, just let go. Just take the safety off. Alright, guys. I hope that was an informative little speech there for you guys. Please feel free to like and subscribe, share, and give me some feedback. Send me some comments, positive or negative, so that I can interact with you. Hopefully in a positive way. Yes, definitely in a positive way. And we'll see you soon. Peace.